Yo, what's going on, Decepticon fam? Welcome back to my channel, your spot for DJ mixes and gaming. I just wanted to mention real quick, our Discord, it is slowly growing, but we do have people on there that are more than willing to help you if you do need any help with modding, or if you just have any questions, or there's just something you missed on this channel and you want a quicker response, you can go ahead and hit us up there, and I'll go ahead and leave that link down below. Today, I'm gonna be showing you 10 racing games that can be played on the Modded Wii using multiple emulators. So no, not just 10 regular Wii racing games. So you're gonna see a mixture of racing games. And here's the best part about this video. If you happen to have a GameCube Logitech steering wheel, that can be used on GameCube games. The Wii Logitech steering wheel, which for some reason didn't get a lot of attention just because there weren't a lot of games that were compatible with it, but there are actually about 5 games that are compatible with this. I'm gonna be showing you a few of those today. And lastly, the old handy dandy Wii remote steering wheel. You can play all of these games with a classic controller, so if the steering wheels aren't your thing, then you have more options, but I just wanted to emphasize that all of these games are gonna be using those steering wheels that I just showed you guys. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If you need a soundtrack to get you through whatever you're doing, whether it be studying, driving, gaming, whatever you got going on, I have a whole bunch of different genre DJ mixes uploaded to the channel. Just head on over to the playlist section, and I do have a new chill wave mix coming out soon, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. So the first game I'm going to be showing you is Ridge Racer, and I didn't mention at the beginning of the video that the Wii64, Not 64, and PSX emulators do use motion control, so you are able to use this on certain racing games, which is awesome. I know this is old news, but I know there are also a lot of people out there that don't know about this, so I'm definitely going to show you one of my favorite games. Before starting the game though, you need to go into controller settings and change this option right here to wheel, so that Not 64 and Wii 64 can recognize the motion controls on your steering. Now there are a couple hiccups to this game. Some of the tracks have graphical glitches at the beginning of the track. If you have sensitivity to flashing lights, or really bright blinking lights, anything like that, you might want to be careful with this game. The other issue with playing this game is that, well, it's not really an issue, you just have to learn to get around it, but it's just getting used to navigating through the menu, because you have to use the motion controls, so you either have to like swipe to the left or swipe to the right to be able to maneuver through everything. We're going to do a time trial, and then also the rear view doesn't work as well. That's another graphical element that seems to be missing. Getting used to the drifting on this, it's hard if you haven't played it in a while. Once you get the hang of this, it's totally fun, and it just reminds me of playing this game in the arcade. Ridge Racer with the Wii remote. Doesn't get any better than this. Alright guys, second game on our list is the Simpsons Hit and Run, another game that is compatible with a racing wheel. And this one, we're obviously going to be using the GameCube Logitech steering wheel, because this is a GameCube game, and so you're going to be using Nintendont. And this can only be used if you have the older Nintendo Wii that has the GameCube controller inputs on the top of the Wii. So yeah, as long as you have that, and if you can find one of these babies, or if you do have one, you are all set to go. Just make sure that when you are setting up the game in USB Loader GX in the menu, you're going to set it up to the native controller. So when you're playing in the beginning, you're going to use the 4-way D-pad that's on the steering wheel to control your character. But once you get in the car, well, then it's all about cruising from here. The graphics in this game are really good, even though it's getting a 2D cartoon and making it a three-dimensional video game. It still looks really good, and I think it holds true to the cartoon itself. The fun part about playing through all of the missions is you get to meet all of the crazy characters from The Simpsons, and they have all of the original voice actors, so it is like you're in the cartoon, and the comedy is just as funny. It's not toned down or anything like that. This game does primarily revolve around driving, so you're not going to be using the D-pad that often. This is more or less like Driver, where all of your missions are in a car. So yeah, you're gonna get plenty use out of the steering wheel. Alright, ladies and gents, the third game on our list for the day is GT Pro Series. Now this was released early on in the Wii's life cycle, and it does use the Wii remote. But again, like I said, pretty much all the games I'm showing you, you can use the classic controller. And for the GameCube games, I'm pretty positive you can use the GameCube controller as long as you have, again, the GameCube inputs or ports on the top. GT Pro Series is such a fun game, and it has a stylistic look to it where it's not exactly realistic. It has a cel-shaded look to it, which is really unique. And the driving mechanics are very arcadey, but it's just so fun and addicting. And we're gonna go ahead and jump into Quick Race. The motion controls, if you do end up using the Wii wheel like myself, are just absolutely on point. This game is very easy to pick up after a couple of rounds and just start kicking butt. At least finishing within the top 3, because on the earlier stages and races of this game, the AI is pretty friendly to you. So as you can see, they rubber band a bit, but again, like I said, this is arcadey. It's not really a simulator. This is more for just a fun, go fast, and I want to win fun factor. Night courses are always amazing to race on. The drifting is so rewarding on here. It just feels really nice when you pull it off and you don't hit a wall like the AI just did. Again, a really amazing racing game that you need to check out. You're going to be loading this through USB Loader GX, don't forget. Alright everybody, the fourth racing game on our list is a PlayStation 1 game, so you will need to use the WiiSXR emulator, and I wanted to show you real quick that because you're going to be using the Wii remote, you do need to make a slight change here in the settings. So you're going to go to Input, and you're going to set PSX controller type to analog. After that, you just go back, and we're going to load up our game. And the game we're going to be playing is Hydro Thunder with the Wii remote. Hydro Thunder! The trick about this game is you have to configure your buttons, and you need to do that every time. Now my buttons are a little misconfigured, but like I said, you need to spend some time and get the right button settings that you want. But playing this again with the Wii remote, can't beat that. It's too good. It's almost like the arcade, if you do remember this being in the arcade. This game is really fun if you want to do a different type of racing game. The levels are very theatrical and it almost reminds me of rides in Disneyland or something like that. The fifth racing game on our list is Dirt 2 on the Wii, using the Wii Logitech wheel. I actually got this for a very cheap price back maybe at least 10 or 9 years ago, and it was brand new and it was literally about 20 bucks on Amazon, like really cheap, brand new. And I think these are still pretty cheap now because again, they didn't get a lot of recognition just because there weren't a lot of racing games on the Wii that were able to use this, but I still think it's well worth it. In my opinion, it's so much better. And this game actually came out really good for the Wii. I remember seeing this in comparison with the PS3 version and I was upset at first, to be honest, but when you take into consideration what the Wii's power is, they did a really good job as far as the arcadey feel, but still keeping a sense of realism. The game, for the most part, hits 60 frames per second and can keep it at 60 frames per second for the most part, as you notice by watching this right now. There are some frame drops here and there, but it doesn't really bother me too much. It's not too noticeable. Alright, and sixth game on our list is Fast Racing League by Shinin. They've actually kept this game franchise going on the Wii U and the Switch, and even the first entry in the series that they came out with is stunning. And I know this game has just gotten better and better since it's been released on the newer Nintendo consoles, but god, this still holds up. I mean, there were bigger budget games that were racing like Need for Speed that don't even look this good, had really choppy frame rates. This just knocks it out of the park. I gotta hand it to Shinin. They came out swinging on their first couple of games. And they were just a brand new indie developer. Nobody knew about them back then when they first started doing this on the Wii. The racing mechanics on this game are the same as the newer versions, and if you by chance haven't played this game, you have a mode of turning your vehicle from gray to black, and when you run over these speed lines like this, for instance, you have to match up to that same color in order to take advantage of the speed that it gives to you. You do also have a boost, but you have a meter. Ooh. You have a meter where you need to build it up in order to use it. And that's what these little orbs are for that you see me collecting. A great futuristic FZero, Wipeout, even Extreme G type game. Another one that I highly recommend. Definitely check this game out. And our seventh racing game on the list is Burnout 2 Point of Impact on the GameCube, so you will need to use Nintendo for this to run properly on your modded Wii. And again, we're using the GameCube Logitech Racing Wheel. If you haven't played Burnout 2, the whole point of this game is to go as fast as you can and trying not to crash into anything. But the closer you get to hitting things, the more that your nitro goes up, or your NOS. And once you've gained up enough of that meter that you see at the bottom left, you can activate it and you go into, I think it's called Burnout. Another fun racing game, and again, more arcade-like. This is a little more, little more along the lines of Need for Speed, but this is more of a straightforward game. It's not really any maps or anything that you can free roam around. No missions or anything like that. Just straight racing and crashing. By the way, this game feels really good with the Logitech wheel as well. The 8th racing game on our list for today is Rally Challenge 2000, and this is going to be using Wii64 or not 64 for it to work and play properly on your modded Wii. And because of the awesome motion controls that this emulator has, you're able to use the Wii steering wheel with it. And this is one of the better rally games on the N64, and there really aren't a lot of graphical glitches on here. It actually plays pretty smooth. This game does have a bit of a learning curve, no pun intended, but if you miss the turns and you run into a wall, it will really hurt, as you see right here, your seconds, and it's very hard to keep up with the time. Once you get used to the stages, the tracks, and the AI doesn't kill you like they just killed me, you're gonna have a pretty good chance of winning. If you do happen to have the Wii 64 or not 64 emulator and you do want a really good rally racing game, make sure to pick this up. Again, just a little bit of a learning curve, but it does get a little bit easier as you learn the sensitivity of the Wii wheel. Okay, we are winding down on our list of racing games on the modded Wii. We are going to be playing Need for Speed Pro Street, and this is number 9 on our list. This game is more of a simulation, so it's not just a pick up and play and crash and try to go as fast as you can type game. This is more along the lines of Gran Turismo or newer games such as Forza. I think this was a pretty good port of the game for the Wii. The stages look really good. Doesn't really look out of place or cartoonish like a lot of their other Need for Speed games that they brought onto the Wii, where they try to make it more of a kid-friendly style game. Like Need for Speed Nitro. That one was very cartoony. Still a fun Need for Speed game, but not on the realistic side like this. I did want to show you guys Need for Speed Pro Street because I feel like this game has pretty much been forgotten about. With all of the following Need for Speed games that I've come across, they tried this track-based style and it was short-lived, but for that reason I think this game stands out. There really aren't a lot of simulators, racing simulators on the Wii. There's Ferrari, which is a simulation style game, and F1 2009. And if you can think of any other racing simulators that are on the Wii, let me know. There are definitely a lot more on the GameCube, I know that. The drifting feels really good with the Wii Remote motion controls. And I need to listen to some funk music while I'm playing this. And our 10th and final racing game for today is going to be F-Zero GX on the GameCube. So you will need to use Nintendo, and your controller will need to be set on native if you do want to use the Logitech Gamecube steering wheel. Everybody has been asking for a new F-Zero to come out. It's been forever now, at least what, over 19 years at least. But that does not take anything away from this game because it looks awesome. It looks so good, and it runs at 60 frames per second. I mean, God, I can't believe this game is that old and looks this good. You know, I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but the GameCube Logitech steering wheel does actually have pedals. For the acceleration, I'm using the A button, and the paddles on the left and right are to go left and right with the it's like an air brake almost. I don't know exactly what it's called, but the pedals for the Logitech steering wheel for the GameCube are near impossible to find, and if it is available, they're super expensive. So when I bought this steering wheel used, it only came with what you see right now, and unfortunately I don't have the pedals for this, but again, they are out there, and I can only imagine how much better it makes racing games. Alright, y'all, that is it for today's episode. 10 racing games on the modded Wii using various steering wheels through multiple emulators, playing all of these different types of games, not just Wii games, but GameCube games, N64 games, and PlayStation 1 games even with steering wheels is fantastic. I recommend that you try to find at least one of these types of steering wheels. It doesn't get any better than racing with the steering wheel. I just don't see the point of using a classic controller unless that's all you have. But that's my opinion. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below, and if I don't respond to them quick enough, you can always join our Discord. Again, I'll leave that link in the description below. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see y'all on the next one. Peace.